I proclaim today National Bacon Wrapped Rib Day. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making some bacon wrapped baby backs. So in order for these ribs to become bacon wrapped ribs, we're not just going to wrap this rack with bacon. The bacon part of this comes once these ribs are already done. But there's a couple things we need to do to these ribs to make sure they're ready for that part of the process. First thing is we got to get the membrane off. Now this is just a standard rack of baby back ribs. Nothing special about it. And we're just going to use regular method to get this membrane off. I like to come down maybe 3 bones, get under the membrane with a regular knife, just a table knife. Then get my fingers under there, peel it back. Then just take a paper towel so you get a good grip and pull back this way. Sometimes you'll get the whole thing, sometimes not. You have to work a little bit. Then we're just going to see if we got any other pieces here we need to trim off. We don't really need any big fat pieces here. Now what we have to do is we have to go along these bones here. And what we want to do is take a sharp knife and we're just going to take the tip of it and we're going to run it along the edge of these bones to help separate the meat a little bit. We're not going to go deep. We're not trying to cut all the way through. We're just wanting to separate it here so that later at the end of this cook, these bones will come out easier without the meat falling apart. I'm going to get right along there and just score it. Just follow it along the edge. We're going to do that for every bone here. Just going to score it, both sides of every bone. And we're not going really deep on the cuts. As you get down to the end here, it gets a little more difficult, so some of these may not end up as bacon wrapped ribs. We may have to use the rib meat for something else. Hint, hint, another video coming. And then just go back through and make sure you have good score marks along every bone. Both sides of every bone. So now that we have that done, we're just going to treat this like a normal rack of ribs and we're going to get some rub on it. Today I'm going to be using a rub from Flaps 20. I'm going to be using their cowboy rub. You can see that. I really like this rub, it's good. Nice sweet smell to it. I'm going to get a good coating. Over, get the back side. Back on the front here. I want a nice heavy coating of this rub on here. So this rack of baby back ribs is ready. Now it's going to go in the refrigerator overnight. I'm not actually going to be smoking these until tomorrow morning. But after we smoke those, we're going to turn these into bacon wrapped ribs. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right, the Weber Kettle is up and going. We're ready for this next day rib cook. You can see our temperatures 240-ish. I'm going to try and keep it between 225 and 250, so I'll be adjusting the vents once these ribs get on. So let me show you how I have the kettle set up. So I have the slow and sear going. It's about 3/4 full because I know I'm not going to need to rock a full 7-hour cook on these baby backs. And I've just got a little piece of foil on the other side as a drip catcher. So let's get these ribs on. That rub coating stuck well to that overnight. It's going to have a good layer of flavor for these bacon wrapped ribs. Now let's get some peach wood on for smoke. Just going to let our peach wood catch and then we'll get our lid back on and start smoking. All right, our peach wood is burning good now. Let's get the lid on. I'm going to adjust the top vents so they're about 3/4 open. And I'm going to adjust the bottom vent so that it's 2/3 open. So these baby backs are probably going to take between 4 and 5 hours today. I'm not going to wrap them in foil or paper or anything. They're just going to cook naked on the kettle today. I'll check them maybe every hour or two just to see if they need any spritzing, but I'll bring you back later when it's time to check them. All right, we're just over an hour in. Let's check these and probably give them a spritz. Those are looking good. I'm gonna be spritzing them here with a mixture of apple juice and apple cider vinegar. It's about a 5-to-1 mixture, 5 parts apple juice, 1 part apple cider vinegar. Looking good. Let's check our coals and see how our coals are doing. Charcoal's looking good. I think I'm gonna add another piece of peach wood. All right, our peach is catching. Let's get the lid back on. Keep this going. Bring it back when it's time to check these. Okay, we're about 3 hours into this cook. I want to give these a check again, probably spritz them, but I want to see how we're doing in terms of tenderness. I want to see what the flex is, and I also want to rotate these, turn them around 180 degrees. Nice color on these. All right, let's have a look here first with flex. Starting to get a little flex, still need quite a bit more. Let's turn these around. We're starting to get some pull away on the bones there. So with 3 hours in, I'm guessing we're going to have about an hour to 2 hours more. It's going to be in that range somewhere. But right now I want to spritz these again. Looking good. Get the lid on. Probably going to check them in another hour. All right, we are at the 4-hour mark and our kettle temp's holding pretty good, right around 240. It's ranged between 230 and 270. Had a little bit of a spike there, but came back down. So we've been, right in that 250-ish range most of the time here. Now I'm gonna start really checking for tenderness here because we have some good pull away. I checked flex before, I wanna check flex again. Okay, we're good, whoop, yeah, okay. I'm gonna do a probe test, but I think we are done. Just from that flex right there. I'm gonna probe between the bones here. Yep. We are done. 4 hours. All right, I'm gonna get these off, get them inside, so we can start making our bacon wrapped baby back ribs. All right, here is our rack of baby back ribs. You'll notice the color is really dark on it. I did not wrap these at all, so these were just naked for 4 hours in that heat with the rub. A little bit of spritzing, no sauce. Now I'm going to turn these over because it's going to be easier to work on removing the bones from the backside. There we go. And you can already see some of the separation here. Some of these want to just pull apart. We had those initial score marks we made, and now we're going to see how easily the bones are going to come out, or do we need to do a little more cutting. So let's just start in the middle here. And if you need to, you can use a knife to slide under there. Take knife, go under there. If there's any meat just hanging on. Just like that. Got just a little bit of meat stuck on there still. That's not bad. Now we're just going to continue through and remove the rest of the bones. Helps if you press down next to the bone as you pull back on it. These end bones can be a little difficult to remove, but sometimes you get lucky. Hey, got all these nice little pieces of rib meat on there to get to taste in just a minute. This very end bone here, it's going to be almost a rib, so that one we're just going to set aside. That might be for the, what do they call it? The pitmaster's choice, the chef's taste. I'm not a pitmaster, I'm not a chef, but I'm still going to taste it. Bones are coming out pretty good. Got one with a little extra bit of meat on here. I'm going to taste that. Oh, nice bark. That rub is really good. There we go. We have our bones removed, and now we just need to cut this into sections that are going to be wrapped with bacon. So I'm just going to work my way down the rack and slice straight through where the bones were. Remember I said we're going to use some of this meat for another video, another recipe, so only about half of this is going to be turned into these bacon wrapped baby back ribs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out maybe 5 or 6 of these that are what I think the best pieces that we're going to wrap with bacon. And I think that this section right here, like maybe this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe we'll take this guy. So these other pieces we're going to set aside for that other rib recipe I'm going to be doing another day. So these are the ones we're working with. Now let's get to wrapping them with bacon. So I'm starting with just a regular piece of bacon. This isn't thick cut, it's just a normal cut. And I'm going to take one of my ribs I'm just gonna set it right about here, but before I start wrapping it, I'm gonna give it a little brush with some barbecue sauce. Just pick your own favorite kind of barbecue sauce. Just on this top side. Now, you're gonna start wrapping. If you need to, you can stretch the bacon a little bit. Roll the rib. Just like that, just like a little bacon-wrapped porky bite. That's what we're going for. All right, let's do some more. Get another piece of bacon down. Put our rib here. Brush some sauce on. And start wrapping. Again, you can just roll it if you need to. Just like that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these wrapped, and then we're gonna fry them up. All right, I have a nonstick fry pan over medium heat inside. You could easily do this outside on the kettle, on the grill with a cast iron pan. This is just how I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna start with a couple pieces here. We're gonna cook them up a little bit on each side. This is probably gonna have to be a little bit beyond acceptable floppy state or AFS. I know it's gonna have to be a little crispier, but I am not gonna turn this into super crispy bacon. I promise you. Those of you who like super crispy bacon, go ahead. Knock yourself out. Bacon wrapped pork, is there anything better? Except bacon wrapped pork stuffed with more pork. I'll try that next time. All right, I'm gonna give these a turn now onto their side. This guy wants to tip over, we're gonna have to help him. And if the end of the bacon comes detached, don't worry about that, we're just gonna roll onto that in just a minute. Ah, looking good. Got that nice bacon sizzle. It's not in cast iron, but it still sounds nice. We're gonna turn to our last side here. All right, these are cooked to how I like them. So I'm gonna take these off, and my wife is gonna cook some to the way she likes it, which is the wrong way, crispy. So here are the bacon wrapped baby back ribs. I've brushed a little bit of my favorite sauce on these. This is a Flaps 20 Texas pepper sauce. You can use whatever you want. I just like the idea of a sauce on the outside of these. Nothing left to do, so it's time to taste. All right, I'm gonna taste this for you now, but I'll make an admission. I just tasted it a second ago, and I'm gonna insert a short clip right now of what my reaction was for it was a test taste to see how it would bite. Here goes. I'm gonna actually try one first just to see how the bite is on it. Holy, that is good. Yes, I had to bleep that, but let me tell you, I meant it when I said that. This is good. Let me show you. Oh man, I don't know that decadent is the right word for this, but it's over the top with flavor. Bacon wrapped baby back ribs is a thing. I know I'm not the first person to do this, but man, are they good. That sauce on the outside, nice little addition. You can dip it. That's why I put that little cup of sauce there. If you make these and serve these to people, they can dip them in all different kinds of sauces. But really, it's kind of just the idea of a rib wrapped with bacon that is this tender, this juicy, that just works well. Oh man. So the baby backs took about 4 hours. Didn't have any sauce on them out there, only had the little sauce in here. Just that rub, some peach smoke, and you end up with a great rib that doesn't need bacon. But let me tell you, the bacon puts this over the top. There's really not a lot else I can say. If you've got some baby back ribs, a little bit of thyme, some bacon, your favorite sauce, a frying pan, you can make these. Wow.